morning. It's day 16, Monday. Really humid out and foggy. There's a lake right there. You can't even see it from this short distance. Today I'm headed first up to Traverse City. I'm going to do some laundry up there. And to the extent that the chain on my bike continues to make noise, I may take it to a repair shop to see what they think. I serviced it last night and tightened it up as well, since I think it was running a little bit loose, so maybe that'll take care of the problem. Hopefully it does. I happened to pick this up early in the trip when I came into Michigan, and it shows in the green dots are the state parks and the red dots are state forest campgrounds. So it just shows here in the northern part of the lower peninsula how many places there are to stay. I'm located here right now. I'm going to go up to Traverse City. This park was closed last night. Then I'm going to work my way around the coast. Again, I was thinking about staying at Muskegon State Park, but there's a whole number of them in the area that I can stay at if I want to. Lots of choices here in Michigan. The benefit of the State Forest Campgrounds is $20 a night. And I think it was only one or two other people here last night, extremely quiet. The state parks tend to be more populated because they have power, which a lot of campers want. They also have showers, which these State Forest campgrounds do not. So there are some benefits, but it's also more expensive, running for between $30 and $50 a night, depending on what kind of spot you take. Very humid morning, almost 9 o'clock. All right, let's see how this chain does. My helmet visor is getting all fogged up. I've driven about 12-15 miles since I left camp. So far the chain sounds fine, so I'm leaving Traverse City behind. I finished my laundry. A little over 50 miles from where I camped last night and worked on the bike. So far the chain seems to be fine. I'm not hearing the noise that I heard yesterday. I think the chain was too loose. And it's probably the first time it's ever happened to me where I've heard that kind of a noise. And right now the bike sounds the way that it normally does. So it really came in handy. When I started doing long distance riding, I went around this bike and checked the sizes on all of the fittings, and then made sure that I had either a socket or if it was a hex head wrench that could be used on all the exterior fittings, so I could make adjustments. And so bringing along that large socket along with a wrench with me, a socket wrench, was able to loosen the bolt, the crown bolt on the shaft for the rear wheel, and then I had the right hex head wrench to be able to tighten up the chain and then retighten the rear axle nut. So being able to do a field repair like that, as well as having the center stand, being able to put it up on the center stand and work on it, makes a huge difference. I am about 10 miles or less from Frankfort, Michigan, which is where this next park is I want to go. It's just the day park. There's a hike down to the Lake Michigan shoreline that's supposed to be very pretty. Oh, that's a rather fancy entrance to a town. Can't say I've seen one of those before. A lighthouse with a ship. Frankfort welcomes you. Frankfort, Michigan. That's kind of cool. I have a good friend that's associated with this preserve, so I am going back to visit it. Yeah, it's busy today. Wow. Lake Michigan. The vessel, the City of Boston, went down on this coast September 1887. She lies 200 feet offshore, 8 feet deep of water. Apparently it's visible from here, but there's not enough sun for me to see it. Lost a lot of elevation. little bit more. It's gonna be a heck of a climb up. Sit down here and cool down for a bit. I'm just coming down the stairs with my gear on. Not ideally suited, but I had my water bladder in it. And I didn't want to go out on a 2.7, 2.8 mile hike without water, so I just left my jacket on. And I'm paying the price of warmth. Yes, indeed. I'm regaining all that altitude. Oh, look at that. The parking lot completely emptied out. That's weird. It was full when I got here. Everybody's gone. There's my trusty steed. I'm gonna cool off here for a few minutes, get my bike loaded up, get my gear back on, and take off. Leaving Greenpoint Dunes Nature Preserve. I thought I had a 3-hour drive. It's actually only 2 hours from here. And about 2 minutes after I shut off the camera, it's coming down. And just as quickly as the rain started, it stopped. Almost 2 o'clock and I got 2 hours, so that gets me down there at 4, excluding a stop for the grocery store. Back into the sunshine. It's more like a highway than I would like, so if I can get off, there looks like there's a road that runs right along the lake. If there's an exit up here somewhere where it'll cut me over to the lake shore, I'm going to do that. Absolutely beautiful. It's nice and warm too. 73. Feels like the humidity might be down a little bit as well, so that might have been a front that came through. I'm not sure. Alright, I got off that interstate. A little more fun riding here. Town of Pentwater, Michigan. What a nice little town. A little nicer than riding on that interstate. Yes, indeed. PJ Hoffmaster State Park. PJ Hoffmaster State Park B1. It's a rustic site. Saved me a whole $5. Instead of paying $45, I paid $40. The difference between this and the $45 site is electrical. So time to unpack. I got some hot chicken in the grocery bag there, biscuits, and a cookie for dessert. Oh, as well as a salad. So I left the campground and I'm going back in to see if I can take a quick peek at Lake Michigan. Not a very good morning for viewing probably, but since I'm here and it's only a minute or two walk, thought I would try it before I head to Lansing, where there's a highly rated Oldsmobile museum that I would like to visit, and I'm going to meet my brother there. About 2.5 hours away. Rained very heavily last night. Big thunderstorms came rolling through again, but credit to my tent, I was dry as a bone, so worked out extremely well. And it stopped early in the morning, and so the fly on the tent was actually mostly dry, which surprised me. So putting the tent away this morning really wasn't that big a deal. Let's take a quick walk. Lake Michigan. Sand is really soft. I have to say, every time I come back from a walk, it brings a smile to my face. My bike is sitting there waiting for me. I could do this ride on the interstate. When there are roads like this where you're making almost interstate speed, you get to enjoy the scenery. I'd much rather do this. I'll probably shave some time off, but not a dramatic amount. The towns slow me down.
but they have their own attraction, so I'm willing to put up with that as long as it's not like, you know, small cities that really slow me down with the stoplights and everything. Little towns I like riding through. Could use a few more curves, a little more elevation change, but hey, this is Michigan. Down in the lower peninsula. Pretty good sized farms down here in Michigan. Not quite like what you see out further west, but they're big farms compared to what you see in New England. Good old Garmin tried to send me down a bike path. Here's part of it. Trail. Man, I tell you, it does pretty well most of the time, but it fails enough of the time that I just do not trust it. For the last hour I have been battling heavy showers, running in and out of them. And when I run into them, boy, they are really heavy. I was actually on an interstate for a bit trying to pick up some time since I was falling behind schedule, and one of them hit, and I lost a lot of visibility on the highway, or the expressway, so I got off at the next exit because it was becoming unsafe, and I'm on secondary roads again. But it's weird because I'm out of them right now and the roads are almost dry. Stopped at an auto parts store that has motorcycle oil and changed my oil. Stopped raining, at least for right now. So I'm headed towards Ann Arbor. My brother was driving ahead of me. He said that he ran into light rain, but nothing heavy. So I'm hoping that that stays true. And if you look at the skies, you'd never guess that there are thunderstorms roaming around the area. It is almost 4:15, and I am in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So I'm going to stay here today, tomorrow, and then continue my journey east. So let's fast forward to Thursday morning. It's day number 19, 10:05 in the morning. It's a Thursday, and I'm about ready to enter the state of Ohio. I spent the last day and a half in Ann Arbor with my brother and his wife. Yesterday, my brother and I decided to visit the Henry Ford Museum, which is adjacent to Greenfield Village, which I visited on my way west. And I think it's worth rewinding to yesterday to spend a few minutes at the Henry Ford Museum. It's one of the world-class museums I've been in, and it covers so many different areas: planes, trains, automobiles, industrial equipment, farm equipment, home life in early America, and it also has electrical production equipment, some huge equipment that's located in the museum. So it's definitely world class, and definitely, I think, worth a rewind. So let's rewind and take a look at the Henry Ford Museum, and I'll be back.
'60 Chevrolet Corvair sedan. Chevrolet Camaro. ZL1. Factory built race car, 2018. This is one massive locomotive.
Welcome back to the present. I am crossing over the river in Toledo, farmlands of Ohio. I am headed east on Highway 412. Take a pretty good time. Not as much as the expressway, but a lot prettier. Got about 47 miles. I'm going to stop at Oberlin College where there's an art museum. It's very good reviews. Probably spent an hour there. It's a small one. But it'll give me a chance to get off the bike, see something new. I just entered Milan, Ohio, which happens to be the birthplace of Thomas Edison, which I did not know that I was going to be passing through until I just saw it. I have a museum here associated with Mr. Edison.
These are called monochrome glazes, mostly from Asia. Underglazed blue porcelain. Some of this artwork is as early as the 15th century. And that leaves polychrome glazes. Some of the artwork here is as early as the 18th century. Claude Monet, 1867. Paul Zig, 1885. Renoir, 1914, oil on canvas. American artist Winslow Homer, 1868. Another Monet, 1920. Second century Roman art, third one over, is 300 AD. And this torso is 1st to 2nd century AD. This artwork comes from a variety of countries. It's all BC. Roman, Egyptian, Cypriot. This is Greek, 525 BC. They're 2,500 years old. This is Spanish, 1588. This is a painting of Raphael, the great Renaissance Italian artist, on his deathbed. And it was painted by Bergeret sometime around 1806, and it was purchased by Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte for his Empress Josephine, who installed it in her chateau. What a history. This is a Peter Paul Rubens painting from 1632. This is from Egypt, 2300 BC. Rodin, 1905, Prodigal Son.
That was a great experience. It's the third largest academic art collection in the country, and only 1% of the collection is on display at the museum. The work that they display here is just great, I thought. I'm certainly not an artist, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's amazing the breadth of artwork that they have, from ancient Egypt and Rome all the way through the 19th and 20th century. Got 115 miles to go and almost 3 hours. Well, I could grab some dinner and what have you. I'm going to be getting into camp at 6 o'clock. This whole trip, this is day number 19. Don't want to jinx myself here, but other than that deluge going into Ann Arbor, it's been pretty dry this trip. A few significant rainfalls that I had were overnight when I was in camp, so it didn't bother me. What a lovely afternoon. I selected a market that I went to, and it had very poor selection. So I'm redirecting myself to an IGA. It's hopefully a little bit better supplied. Ohio Farm. That small grocery store worked out a lot better than the prior market. I got enough for dinner and for breakfast. Nothing great, but at least it'll do, and I don't have to cook. So it is getting late.
Pymatuning State Park. Tent only. Site number 88. Not the most level site in the world. Gonna grab some dinner. And it cost me $35 a night. State of Ohio, right across from the Pennsylvania border.